Welcome back, ladies, to the Femininity Project podcast. I am so excited today. I have a friend and a woman that I highly look up to on the podcast today, and it's going to be such a great conversation. Her name is Ashika Lessani. We actually met, I think, over social media during COVID, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God,
it's
it feels like
been
ages ago.
yeah, and sometimes you connect with people on social media and nothing ever happens, but we stayed connected and we've built a friendship and we've done certain things together. She is just a woman that you are going to love. Let me give you her formal bio. She's a feminine leadership coach. She's a registered holistic nutritionist, and she's the author of Redesigning the Inner You, a book of holistic wellness. Her newest book, which has a super spicy title,
Mm.
Naked with Myself, is a transformational journey into self trust, emotional regulation, and magnetic presence. And that is coming out soon. So we'll have details for you on that. She is also the host of the Vibrant Woman podcast, where she interviews entrepreneurs and women with a strong sense of self who are ready to share their awakenings and wisdom with the world. She's a powerhouse. Welcome, Ashika.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It is my pleasure and my honor to be here with you and your community. And I could not be more excited for this
Yeah.
conversation. Yes. And you are just such a light. I mean, to those women that are listening, like if you have the opportunity to ever meet Sarah in person, you will fall in love with her. That's all I have to say.
Aw, I love you too. I'm so excited about this conversation. We're going to jump right in. One of the themes of your book is magnetic women. And when you're talking about that, I don't think you're just talking about charm or style. You're touching on something deeper. So, can you share more about that?
Yes, it is. And that topic just gives me goosebumps because it really represents a woman who is grounded in who she is and is in total control of her energy, not her
Mhm.
life, because sometimes things happen and we don't have control. We only have control on how we react to it and what we can prevent consciously. But this is more about a woman's aura. It's that magnetic pull that people feel from her. And where that comes from is having a regulated nervous system, like
Okay.
being really emotionally aware of yourself, your surroundings, your breath. I would even go deeper as to, like I share in my book, even a woman's posture.
Mhm.
That's what that female magnetism, like you can just smell it. Like that woman doesn't even need cologne at that point because you can just smell her walk into the room,
Yes.
right? And that's when she leaves people thinking like, who was she? People will whisper like, who was she? Like, where's she from? It is really also about a woman like knowing when to say no and when to say yes, because there's also that emotional power in that as well. So when we talk about that female magnetism, it's like this gravitational pull that people have
Yeah.
towards her. And she is just grounded in who she is. And she doesn't react, but she's very proactive.
For you, was there a turning point where you started to feel this in your own life or see how it changed how people experienced you?
Yeah, I mean, there was so many different moments as there's so many different chapters in a woman's life.
Mhm.
But the one that really sticks out to me was when I was going through my divorce and trying to hold it together because, as women, we try to hold it all together. If you look good on the outside, it doesn't matter what's happening on the inside. And that got really exhausting really fast for me.
Mhm.
And I just had to really surrender to myself because I said, I want people to experience the authentic me. So if I'm breaking, I'm breaking. If I'm building, I'm building.
Mhm.
And that truly allowed me to go inwards. And as we know, and this is something that you talk about too, is that, when we feel that vibrancy, when we feel like we love and care for ourselves,
Yeah.
That's when people truly get to experience you. So I think that was my turning point when I took everything that was happening to me, make it happen for me. And now I can be able to say, like that was the best thing that could have happened in my life, was just to allow myself to completely break open.
A question about that. So you're talking about emotional regulation and then authenticity and what you're feeling.
Hmm.
You said when you're broken and you allowed that to be seen, how did you also, I guess where I'm going with this is I know a lot of women when they're going through something, they tell everybody everything. It's like
Yeah.
they have no control of what they let out. And then sometimes it's almost like buyer's remorse. Like, why did I
Yeah.
share that? How did you show up authentically, being able to say, okay, right now I'm broken, but without oversharing or oversharing with the wrong people?
Yes, and that's such a great point, because when you overshare, you leak a lot of your energy.
Hmm.
And what you talk about, and what you continuously talk about, is what you continue to attract.
Yes.
So it was really my mindset and the words that I chose to relate to others when they would ask me, how are things and what's happening? And I said, you know what? I'm going through a lot of changes in my life, and some are good and some are not, but I'm fully owning it. Right. And only share like more details to people that were closest to me. But the
Yeah.
ones that were outside, and I remember like when I was going through my divorce, it was, oh my gosh, almost, oh, this one's 14 now. It's about 12 years ago. So at that point, I didn't have my business. I wasn't on social media.
Hmm.
So, but at that point, when uh, now when I talk about it, it's completely different. But back then, it was really just sharing what the transformation that I was going through,
Okay.
right? And just using, I guess, different words. It was all on the mindset and the words I was choosing because of the outcome that I wanted in my life, if that makes sense.
I think that's so brilliant in what you said too. People will often, if you continue talking about something, you continue just living it.
Right.
And sometimes we can get used to staying in this negative space because we bond over the negativity instead of climbing out of it. I really like how you
Yeah.
handle.
And that's very different, and that's very critical for women to understand when we talk about like feminine magnetism, is
Mhm,
that, not to put yourself in that victimhood verbiage.
mhm,
That's really important.
mhm,
It's good to have that support system, but really having that magnetic aura is not to see yourself as a victim, but see yourself growing from what you are going through,
mhm.
right?
Can you give an example of victim language change to more growth orientated language? It could be a woman
Uh,
who's going through a divorce, what she's feeling.
yeah. Let's say for instance, like someone asks, how are things going with your divorce? And
Mhm,
before they can even finish asking the question, you sort of projectile vomit all the things that are going wrong.
mhm,
And just for instance, like your house, or your job, or your finances, and you just start spitting things out without having any emotional control,
yeah.
right? But so I think that would be, and I've had some women that have come to me with that work, that they're changing their mindset. That was one of the first things they said to me was, whenever someone asks me how I'm doing, instead of saying, thank you so much for asking, that's very kind of you, I'm doing okay today.
Okay.
Rather than saying, well, this is what's happening, and this is, the name like A to Z,
Yes.
different things that could be happening. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even that,
Okay.
thank you for asking. I'm doing okay today. It
Yeah.
frames it. It
Oh
almost
my
puts
gosh.
a do not go further, but you're
Yes.
still being polite in what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that part is that part is really important to understand when you are talking about, you know, your aura and that magnetism and what you want to attract. Because the thing is that the more you think about your energy expanding, your mindset changing, the
Mhm.
more you attract. The more you leak energy, the more you have that negative mindset. And again, it takes practice. It doesn't
Mhm.
happen overnight. It was the
Yeah.
same thing that I went through too. You know, I started with that mindset and I shifted from
Mhm.
that. And when I shifted, my aura expanded and so did my world.
Mhm. How did that transition? So going from what you were doing now, guiding women in presence, aura, and energy, how did that transition happen?
I started to get, you know, when you are going through your journey and you are learning, because no one has ever done growing, what
Mhm.
you went through before and you've grown through it and you know the tools, you have the lessons in your back pocket that
Yeah.
you can pass forward so it can have that ripple effect. I attracted women that were also going through that, and women who were people pleasing,
Mhm.
losing a lot of their energy through burnout, you know, being everything for being everything for everyone.
Mhm.
And a lot of that came from not having the self-confidence, the trust, the
Mhm.
ability to say, no, not right now, or no, that's not for me, and understanding when to use the yes, because the yes is such a powerful tool. Let's not disregard that, right?
Mhm.
The yes gets you into tables and rooms that you want to be in,
Yeah.
right? So just understanding that. And so being able to help women through that became, it almost became like a self-fulfilling prophecy for me.
Okay.
It brought me so much joy because I wanted the women to also feel what I was feeling, that sense of freedom,
Mhm.
you know. And again, along the way, you know, that aura for all of us women expand as we learn, as we grow, as we experience different things in our life, you
Mhm.
know, from what I experienced in my divorce to the things that I've experienced in dating and things like who I am right now, that you see so much more, but I'm
Mhm.
excited for more as well. And also women that, as I was, you know, too humble to ask for more.
Yeah.
So
Such a big
now,
thing for women.
that's right. So now understanding that, you know, I can still be humble, but
Mhm.
have not have my ego as part of that, but still be humble, but still ask for what I want. And just to give that ability, that freedom back to that woman. That's how I transitioned what I learned into helping women now. That's feminine leadership.
Mhm.
You know, feminine leadership doesn't have to be coarse. It doesn't have to be stubborn. It doesn't have to be like a negative energy in the room. Like
Mhm.
you can really, you know, spread that love and confidence by being the best you, the best feminine you.
Mhm. I've heard you say aura a few times, and one of the things that you've said before is aura is scientific,
Hmm.
not mystical, which is a really refreshing take. So, can you explain more what you mean by that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the coolest things I like about this chapter in my book, Naked with Myself, is that I break down the true meaning of aura when in feminine magnetism, and the aura behind it is the ability to regulate your nervous system. Because then when our nervous system is regulated, our hormones send out a scent. Our breath
Mm.
sends out a sense of peace to others. The way we speak, the way we relate to others, it is all within that. It's like science and soul coming together.
Mhm. That is really cool. It's so
So
cool.
that's it is so cool. And, you know, even when I was writing it, I was just like totally geeking out on it because, you know, having that science background and being a nutritionist and working more in the holistic wellness community, I said,
Mhm.
you know, like women need to understand this. Like, imagine a woman who is always on the go. You know, she's eating on the go, she's talking on the go, she's rushing from one place to another. She's
Yes.
saying yes to everything. Her schedule is bombarded. You know, she's going through personal challenges, her business, relationship, whatever it could be. That woman is like a ticking time bomb. Her energy.
Hmm.
right? You just almost want to go and hold that woman and give her a hug so she can just stop vibrating,
Yeah.
right? And when we talk about the aura is like really that calmness, but like a very a powerful calmness. Like she's a woman you don't want to mess around with, right?
Hmm.
It's not that that soft feminine, but she has that power that you are gravitated towards, but in a community where she has the ability to build with other women as well,
Hmm.
right? And appreciate other women, where she
Yeah.
feels validated in herself, so she can show up and appreciate and clap for other women.
It's almost like this depth of energy around her.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. It's like this golden aura,
Yeah.
and then whoever she is, it's like people want to gravitate towards her, and she pulls selectively
Hmm.
towards her, right? And she knows who to sort of block out and who is able to receive her energy. She's very picky. It's very picky.
Hmm. That is true, right? Because the brighter you are, the more people
Mm-hmm.
want to attach themselves to
Yes.
you. And I think that is a challenge because sometimes those people will fall in love with the brightness, but they will resent it if they're not doing the things themselves after a while.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You mentioned such a critical point, and this is important for women to understand that once that light bulb is turned on, you need to protect that,
Hmm.
right? It's like your radar goes on. You learn how to put that radar on, that signal on, that
Hmm.
you start to see who is supporting your light and you're supporting their light, because it's an exchange. If
Hmm.
there's no exchange, you'll start to flicker.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a whole tweet right there.
Oh yeah. We'll have to tweet it once the
We're
podcast
gonna have to
comes up.
tweet
Yeah, that
Is
is
that
so
is it
true.
still a thing? Is it called a tweet still?
I think so. It's no, it's well, I mean,
It's X, right?
on Facebook it has yeah, on Facebook or Instagram, it's more like a hashtag.
Okay, yeah, let's hashtag that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
that that needs to be a hashtag.
you also tie in boundaries and self-trust into presence. So how do those invisible choices shape the way people feel us before we ever say a word?
So when you have boundaries, people already from your aura, when you have these boundaries in place, it's like again, you learn to say what is for you and what isn't for you.
Hmm.
So understanding, what you say yes to and what you say no to, but it's also on how you others, um, address others on and how you take care of yourself
Okay.
as well. So um, I think that's answered. Can you ask me that question again? Sorry, that's like,
Yes. So you talk about boundaries and self-trust and
yeah.
how that ties into your presence. So all the invisible choices that
Mhm.
you're making, how do they shape people? Sorry, choices shape the way people feel about us before we ever say a word.
Okay.
The things you're
So
doing behind the scenes.
So I would say like the biggest things is, having when it comes to self-trust, let's talk about first self-trust and boundaries with yourself.
Mhm.
So it's like when you take the time to take care of yourself, whether you're going to the gym or you get facials, you get your hair done, you get your nails done, you're
Mhm.
working on your growth, you're working on your mindset, your finances, looking at your circle, all of that shapes you,
Mhm.
that also shows people your your standards, that
Mhm.
also shows people your boundaries as
Mhm.
well. So it could be as simple as like if you are in shape and you talk about taking care of yourself and you support and motivate other people to take care
Mhm.
of themselves. When you're asked out for dinner, this is something I've noticed, and when you're asked out for dinner, the person inviting you will automatically ask, where would you prefer to go? Because I know you have a particular type of food that you eat, or I know you take care of yourself. It's like that standard is already, they see it without you even speaking.
Yeah.
right? And also, you know, even your group of friends too,
Mm,
people can see who you relate with, who you spend time with, right?
yeah.
They will address you. There's that energy around it too.
Yes. Okay. If a woman is feeling scattered or drained, she's not feeling that she is this woman that you are talking about.
Yeah.
What's a way that she can call her energy back to herself in those moments?
This is a powerful practice that I also teach my clients and when say here is pause.
Okay.
Pause. The biggest thing is to pause in order to call your power back. Pause, focus on your breath. If you feel like you're all over the place or you're having a difficult time and the day or the week or the month, focus on your pause.
Hmm.
Focus on being, focus on your breath. I like the box breathing is where it's like 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out. If you do that for 2 minutes, that calms your nervous system down automatically. So that is one of the biggest things I would say. And women have a very difficult time with pausing,
Hmm.
right? And being
So true.
present. Pause, but don't hold your breath. That's another thing too, is when you are really scattered and are looking for grounding, you'll notice that a lot of times you're not breathing from your diaphragm, you're only breathing from your chest. That's only 20% of oxygen going to your brain.
Wow.
So
Okay.
understanding all of this, and I go through this in the chapter in my book, is how um, to stop the spinning, right? Call your power back. And this is I also see this too, where a lot of women think that it has to be something really big that you have to do. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's just simple pause, whether it's a 2 second pause or it's a 1 minute pause. If
Hmm.
someone is even asking you something, say, let me call you back. Let me get back to you. You're allowed to do that as well. So really pausing, checking with yourself, where are you breathing from? Is it just from your chest, right? Or is it coming from your diaphragm? Are your shoulders up to your ears or are they relaxed? Right?
Why do you think women have such a hard time with that? I think men do it better. Men can pause. I see it in them, but it's a
Yeah.
very challenging thing for women to do.
Yeah. I would say the things that I've come across and something that I had realized in myself when I was learning this pause was to make other people, I was afraid that other people would feel uncomfortable if I paused, and I didn't want anybody to feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So I just kept going without the pause, not
Okay.
not understanding that this is something that I also deserve, and it's okay for me to pause, and I don't have to hold everything in my own hands.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I think men are more like, okay, well, if it happens, it happens. If it's, gotta go there, then let's go. If not, then let's not. But with women, we have a lot more expectation put on us as well.
And you think it's put on us or we put it on ourselves?
That's a good question because I think at first it's put on us and then we take it on rather than saying, no, not right now. And
Yeah.
when we take it on, we take it as ours.
Hmm.
Right. So then it becomes a ripple effect because then what you allow continues. This was a huge lesson for me. And
Hmm.
and sometimes it still comes and goes and I'm like, remember you learned this, right?
Yeah.
Because no one's perfect. So it's what you allow will continue. So if you allow the world to put all of their weight on you, you will take it in and you will make it your own, right?
Even with the pause for a second. So when you started doing that, when you notice it, was there a little bit of a tipping point, like where you're sort of doing it out of willpower for the first little while of I have to force myself to sit in
Hmm.
this?
Hmm.
Is that what it was like for you?
Yes, yes, you
Okay.
said it really well. Yeah, there was a lot of sitting in it.
Okay. Yeah.
But a lot of decisions where I had to just sit there and just be on my own
Hmm.
and sit with it and not react. It was
Yeah.
the whole point of like, if anything was happening around me, I paused rather than reacting, because a lot of times we also get very uncomfortable of silence,
Hmm.
and silence is so powerful.
Did you notice people in your life who are probably used to you not pausing, now starting to take that space? Was that difficult for them?
Very,
Okay.
very. It came with a lot of, when I was going through my growth, it came with a lot of, who do you think she is? Like, who does she think she is? Or they would feel comfortable. And I am very comfortable saying that a lot of people have fallen off.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of that pause. But the ones that have stayed have really experienced who I am. And it's brought us closer together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think people are scared of that too, right? When they're
Hmm.
changing, there's sort of this internal knowing that maybe this isn't going to work for some of the people in my life.
Yeah.
And it can be a little bit of a lonely journey as you are
Yes.
getting to a better version of yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. It can be very scary
Hmm.
there's a lot of fear around that, because you're not doing things to please others anymore. You're doing something for yourself.
Yeah.
And when I talk to my clients about this, when I tell them to practice this, the first thing you will see, they're just kind of like a frozen face.
Mm.
And the first thing is like, well, can I do that?
Yeah.
Like, we're still asking for permission, which is really beautiful, because then you are like truly yourself in that moment, and you're saying, can I do that? You're asking for permission. Once you ask for permission and you get it, when you're working with a coach, it is so important. And then you take that into your life,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
that's and this I had to mention, because we were talking about, when a woman enters a room, that aura that you feel, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times women enter a room and they feel like they're not ready to be in a room, or not to be at that table. They feel
Hmm.
they feel very subconscious. They don't feel smart enough. They don't feel brave enough. All of these thoughts, right? When a woman learns the magnitude of her aura and the strength that she has to really excel her life, she validates herself before she walks into that room.
Mm.
And when you validate yourself, that's when people are gravitating towards you, and you get to pick who you want in your life, and who you want on the corner, and which table and which door to enter from.
Mhm. I love that. So many women say that they're on autopilot, right? They're
Hmm.
just, I hear that all the time. I'm just on autopilot, just
Yeah.
reacting to things. But the idea of you validate yourself, but you have to get quiet enough to actually do that, know what you want.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
For a woman who feels stuck in the cycle of chasing validation,
Mm.
what's some steps she could do to start shifting into that more magnetic energy, that
Mm.
brighter aura?
Yeah, I love this question, because this is an opportunity for women to truly feel their own power. To do this particular exercise is to first, you want to make sure, like I mentioned before, that you're breathing from your diaphragm, not just from your chest, right? You want to be breathing from there, bottom of your abdomen. And you take your right hand, put it on your heart, and you want to really feel the warmth. And when you feel the warmth, just go deeper. And then what you want to do is, you want to close your eyes, and you want to see this golden light. And you're just inside that golden light. And with every breath you take, that golden light goes wider. It expands. And as it expands, anything that is not supporting your energy gets pushed away from that golden light.
Mhm.
Anything that helps you grow and you help them grow comes within that golden light. So you're creating this invisible aura, or this invisible golden light around you. And that always stays with you
How often would you practice this? How often would you think about this?
every day. Every day. I've gotten better at it myself. right? So there's sometimes, well, I mean, I gotta be honest, there's sometimes where I feel like I'm going in autopilot between
Mhm,
work and my son and just life in general. But
mhm.
the cool thing is that once you learn this, you're able to tap into it faster,
Yeah.
right? There's less time in that struggle. It could be like, 90 seconds of autopilot. I'm like, oh, nope, caught myself, right? So
Yeah.
usually for me, I'll practice it in the morning and I'll practice it at night because the nighttime, and it doesn't have to be a full out routine. It could just be a minute or 2 minutes. That's all it takes of just that
Mhm.
silence, that pause, and imagine that light around you. Right. And imagine that light even when you're walking down the street. You
Mhm.
got your high heels on, you're walking down the street, or you're jogging down the street, or you're even working out. Like sometimes I do it. If I miss it in the morning, I'll do it when I'm at the gym lifting weights, and I'll just imagine this light around me.
Mhm.
Right.
I like that too, making the learning curve shorter, because I
Mhm.
think sometimes women also go all or nothing. So then
Yes.
if they feel like, "Oh, I missed a day," or "I'm back on autopilot," just what you said, I was on it, I realized it, I can
Mhm.
shift out of it sooner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's not this mantle of failure that you wear every time something doesn't go great, but continuing to shorten the learning curve, calling it out faster.
Yes. Yes. And that's one of the biggest things. It's like, things that took me, tools that took me a decade to learn, like in different phases of my life.
Yeah.
Now it's easy and it's very fulfilling for me to teach that to a woman, give
Mhm.
that lesson to a woman, and she doesn't have to wait a decade to feel that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Your new book is coming out.
Oh my gosh.
Naked with Myself. I love the title. I'm so excited to read it. So, you talk about self trust and emotional regulation. I want to hear more about the process of what it was like writing for you. And was there anything that surprised you along the way? This was your second book.
Yeah. This book has been in the making for a couple of years. I've written it, I've stopped, I've written it, I've stopped because it was really uncovering a lot of truth in my life
Mhm,
and sharing it, but also seeing myself and looking at the journey that I've gone through, but looking at the journey necessarily not only as me, but as that woman, that
mhm,
the journey that we go through.
mhm,
So this book, I almost say this book has a life of its own, and it's really like I had to get naked with myself, meaning to take, to take away all my titles. Doesn't matter what education I've had, what are my titles, that whether I'm a mom or not, like all of it, just take all of it off just for a split second. And if you stand in the mirror and you just look at yourself as somebody who doesn't have any of that, and you see yourself and then truly start, like that was a process. I had to do that many times. So I had to write, stop, do that, write, stop, do that
mm,
as well.
yeah.
And honestly, there was times where I cried writing the book, and it wasn't because it was emotional, because I was just tired. Like just I was mentally tired, because it does take a lot of does take a lot of willpower to
Mhm,
sit down, but it does take a lot of conscious effort to sit down
mm,
and put what is in your mind and what is in your heart and spit it out on paper, right? And to
mhm,
type it in. So there was a lot of times where I had to, write for a little bit and then stop, write for a little bit and then stop. The process was also, there was times where I would write a chapter and then really go into reflecting, wow, I've come a long way. And I
mhm,
cannot wait till a woman hears this, because she's going to know that she's not alone.
mhm,
And that's why that was one of the main reasons why I wrote this book, was because it's for that woman who just wants to stop spiraling and really see herself, look at herself literally naked in her bathroom, go
mhm,
eye to eye with herself and look at every part of her body, whether it's perfect or not, and accept herself. Once we accept ourselves, then we can grow.
What are some examples of women spiraling? Maybe a woman's listening to this and she doesn't know she's spiraling. What would
Oh
be,
my gosh.
she's just been living
I
that
think
way for a
yes,
really long time. What
yes.
would be some examples that you could point to?
Yeah, let's say one of the first things that stands out to me is, if you're a woman who's constantly on a diet,
Okay.
the next diet fad, you are wanting to have that validation, and you're wanting this body that you've so much envisioned in your mind, but you're holding on to every diet that's coming, saying maybe this is the one, maybe this is the one, maybe this is the one. Then we take that same reaction and you take it to dating. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
this is the one, maybe he's the one,
Mm.
and you're spiraling, and what you're doing is you're still attracting the same person but just in a different body. you know that's also spiraling. You're in a career that you absolutely hate. You wake up every morning and you're like, I don't want to do this, but you get up, you grab your smoothie, you grab your coffee, or you don't even eat anything, you grab your coffee, you're driving to work, you get from one place to another, and you have no idea how you got there. So these are all little silent spirals. Someone says something to you and you need to confront them right now, right here, or if not, it consumes you. That's a spiral.
Mm.
you know um
Okay.
you feel like you need to be heard, and if you're not heard, then you're not validated, or you constantly or you decline invitations because you don't feel like you're good enough, so you just go in a spiral of isolation.
Okay. So the first
Yeah.
step for the woman would be to do the pause.
Yeah.
You start to, what would the next step be for her?
It's, you know what? That's a great
Read the
question,
book.
but it read the book,
Yeah.
pause and read the book, and then really find that support system, right?
Okay.
Find that support system. Don't do it alone.
Hmm.
Don't do it alone, because I tried doing it alone and I couldn't. Even to the point where when I started to trust myself, that's when I realized I'm like, I need support. I need someone to walk me through this. Right. And when we ask for that, that's when we become so powerful. So ask for help. Pause, get the book, ask for help, because help makes you powerful. Be willing to break open, meaning allow yourself to be seen by
Hmm.
you, by yourself. Right.
I'm
And
curious
every woman is different.
with your background in nutrition,
Mm,
when you're giving all the examples of different ways that women spiral
yeah.
from the dating, like, is he the one? Is he the one? The diet.
Mm,
If they had all of those things going on, would you start with getting help with the diet portion because it would change how everything else feels inside?
mm. Great question. Yes. Yeah. You would start with bringing it back to you,
Okay.
not him or the job or the friend,
Hmm.
because you want to be in control of your life,
Yeah.
right? So instead of putting your power outwards, you bring it back to you. And when we bring it back to us, we we look at our body, we look at our mind, we look at how our gut is responding to the spirals in our life, because you may have IBS, you may have leaky gut, you may get skin flare-ups, you may get acid reflux. All of these things that could be happening, and then how you're reacting or going into that spiral is the byproduct of that. So bringing it back to yourself, understanding that if I make my mind and my body healthy and we can work together, when the mind, the body, and the heart work together, then from there, you start to make better decisions.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Those decisions also give you confidence, right?
Oh,
Like
yes,
once you see
absolutely.
that.
Yes, so much courage, so much courage. Yeah,
Mhm.
right. So you got to have the courage to step forward and then just bank that confidence.
I was thinking about we were talking about that invisible energy and the things that are happening behind the scenes. And
Yeah.
I think that's such a big part when you know that you are making good decisions for yourself,
Hmm.
you start to see yourself as a certain type of woman, a
Yeah.
woman who takes herself seriously.
Yes.
And that you can feel. Like there is a it's almost like a
Oh,
vibration that comes off
yes,
women who are doing that.
yes. It's
Really
like,
powerful.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, you said it really beautifully. It is that vibration, it's that radiance, right?
Hmm.
That when you look at a woman and you say there's something different about her. I don't know what
Hmm.
it is, but something different. Then when you're in her presence, you just watch how she is,
Yeah.
right? And that inspires other women as well because it's something like it's that positive feedback that your energy gives.
Yes. I feel like it inspires or they fall.
Hmm.
It'll do one of two things.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
If a woman is listening right now and she feels that her energy disappears the second she walks into a room, so
Mm.
maybe she's done the pause, she feels like she goes in and then she doesn't think she should be there anymore.
Hmm.
What is something that you would want her to remember?
Mm. Okay. You know, when we walk into a room, and I'll bring it back to when I used to walk in the rooms way back. I was used to say or think to myself, will they like me?
Mm, okay.
And what I want the women to know is you need to ask yourself, do I like me? And that gives me chills to say
Mhm,
because it is such a powerful reframe, such a powerful mindset shift that's you taking your power back. So if you're walking into a room and you're feeling that, ask yourself, do I like me
mhm.
right here in this energy? Do I love me? Do I care for me? And you don't have to say yes 100%, but 1%, 2%, whatever it is, there's still that hope,
Yes.
right? To ask yourself that. And if the answer is yes, then feel validated by that. Again, it takes practice,
Mhm.
right?
If the answer is maybe not,
Hmm.
where do they go from there?
You still go into the room.
Okay.
You do not walk out of that room. You still go into that room,
Yeah.
even if you go through the motions, because it takes a lot of courage, despite you liking yourself or not, to
Mm,
stay in that room, to feel uncomfortable.
mhm.
So uncomfortable that you never want to feel that again because you want to then grow from there and build that courage. So do not leave the room. Stay there.
I
Maybe
like
pick one person that you can relate to,
that. Mhm.
right? But do not leave the room because the minute you leave the room, you're leaving with another story saying, I failed. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy.
Yes.
You do not want to attach that to that.
So good. Okay, Ashika, when is your book coming out? Do we have a date?
We don't have a set date yet,
Okay, it's
but
coming soon.
it's coming soon. Fingers crossed. It's coming soon. So we're just working on the last little bits and pieces of it, but it's fully written. It's so much close. It's closer to being released. So I'm really excited to share that with everybody.
Okay, once it's out, we'll share it on our social media, the email list.
Thank you.
Everybody will let you know when it's coming out because I know that you will want to read it. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram under Ashika Lessani Coach. You can find me on Facebook under my first and last name. You can go to my website. It's very first and last name, my website, and LinkedIn too. I'm not as active on LinkedIn, but if you want to get a hold of me, Facebook or Instagram would be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And
We'll put those in the show notes as well, so everybody
yes.
can go and find you.
Hmm.
This is a great conversation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for such an inspiring conversation. And I'm so honored to be here with you. And I love everything that you do for women and how you support women through their femininity. You are so inspiring to me.
Oh, Ashika, thank you. I love you. And if you are in the Feminine Collective, Ashika is going to be coming and she's going to lead us in a workshop. So very excited for all the members who are going to be able to join that. We will have details for that as well. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know you enjoyed this episode. And we will see you on the next one.